Rob Reiner's son is now in custody after the murders of the actor and director and his wife, Michele. Sources tell ABC News the two were found stabbed to death in their Los Angeles home overnight. Now officials are expected to give an update on the investigation later today. Our Alex Stone has the latest on that. We're going to get to Alex in a bit. But first, I want to go back to Brad Garrett. Brad, for your reaction here, we're just learning right now, breaking news, that Nick Reiner is in custody. What do you make of that?
So, do adult children kill their parents? Of course they do. We don't know that is the case here. But it's one thing you have to look at. Now, who was last at the house? Does Rob Reiner have security? Does he have CCTV? Are there phone records that place his son at the house? And what was their relationship? Who knows what's accurate, but the two of them even did a movie years ago about his son's addiction and the issue that has played. I could name off a number of homicides where adult children that had addiction problems harmed their parents. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. So all of those things I just mentioned, can LAPD put the son at this location? I'm really curious to know who notified emergency services and or the police. Does the son have anything to do with that? And so it's like every other case. Can you put the son at the scene? We don't know how they died, but all that's important to see if the son is a viable suspect. And this all happened at their home in Los Angeles. Our Trevor Alt is there right now. Trevor, what are you learning?
Well, this arrest does not necessarily come as a surprise based on the rumors and some of the reports that we had been hearing, but the LAPD had been very tight-lipped yesterday when they addressed the media, Diane. So this is certainly a very big development that Nick Reiner is in custody. Now, the LAPD has not clarified what charges he may be facing, or even that it is 100% certain tied to what appears to be a pretty grisly double murder at the home here that's just on the left. We watched this morning as the medical examiner showed up here on the scene. They have since cleared it. They had several blocks all around that were blocked off while that investigation was ongoing. They've since removed all of that caution tape, so we could go right up to the gate of Rob Reiner's home, and you can see signs for a security system here. Now, how that played out in terms of how the authorities were notified of this, we're not 100% sure. We know that LAPD officers arrived here around 3:30 in the afternoon yesterday, and they were arriving because they were conducting a death investigation. Now, we've been waiting on some more details here. We know that the Associated Press had reported that a source with the LAPD had said that officers were questioning a family member. It is highly possible that that was Nick Reiner, who has now been charged here. But of course, there are still many unanswered questions on a really devastating story for a lot of people. Rob Reiner, of course, one of the most highly regarded directors all around the world, had made so many iconic films. Michele, singer, photographer in her own right. They were extremely well loved around the world for their work, and also here in the neighborhood here in Brentwood, known to frequently have gatherings, and other members of their family lived in the homes in the neighborhood as well. So certainly a devastating twist. This was something where we were waiting on police to give us some information. I expect now we will probably get some clarity on those charges for Nick Reiner later today. It's not 100% clear when the LAPD will address the media, but they had been planning on an update already. So I do think we will get some details later on today.
And Trevor, we're hearing now there's a $4 million bond in his case. I want to pull a little bit more on the community. You talked about how they are beloved there. I understand his daughter lives right across the street with her kids. They were known to throw a lot of parties. How are people there reacting?
Well, from what we've seen, I mean, this is a neighborhood that a lot of celebrities live here, and of course, a lot of celebrities who have worked directly with Rob Reiner, Diane. And so among them, we know yesterday, after the authorities were already on the scene, Larry David showed up here, Billy Crystal showed up here, and one of our reporters from our local affiliate, KABC, said it looked like Billy Crystal was devastated, almost as if he was on the verge of tears. Of course, Billy Crystal and Rob Reiner worked together on one of their most beloved films, When Harry Met Sally. I would imagine you are going to continue to see an outpouring of devastation from people, not just here in Brentwood, but people who had worked with Rob Reiner going back decades. I mean, this is a person who's been famous since the 1970s, so more than 50 years. And of course, the people of Brentwood, it is certainly an upper-class community. These are extremely nice homes. There are very prominent security system logos outside of basically every driveway here. It's not necessarily a neighborhood that would say you might be covering a double murder, which probably makes it all the more shocking for people. We continue to see people in patrol vehicles for security systems, not even law enforcement, just security workers that have been patrolling this neighborhood here too. And so for this to happen in such a neighborhood is especially shocking. But really any kind of double murder like this, especially when it does appear that perhaps the son of the victims may be in custody, responsible for these double murders. Now, we don't know that 100% for sure, but this is shocking top to bottom, Diane.
It sure is. Brad, what comes next in this investigation?
So, what has the son said? Was the son involved in the 911 call? I'll tell you, Diane, that's not uncommon for adult children who kill their parents to turn around and report and infect themselves to 911. So we'll see if that is there. Has he said, the son, has he said anything about the issues with his parents, and maybe even has given them a statement? I mean, it tells you volumes because the bond is so high at $4 million. So I think that's where this case is going in that regard. But going back to your question, what do they have in addition to maybe a statement from the son, to the TikTok of everything that went on at this location? Where did the knife, it's been reported there was a knife involved. I don't know if that's true. Let's just say it's true. Where did it come from? Was it one from the house? Was it one that the suspect brought? Again, trying to put, if it's the son, you put him in the house. Now, I'm sure he's been in the house a number of times. But the point being, was he in the house when this occurred? It's all of those things, tying a suspect through motive, through a weapon, through a location, through cell phones, etc. All of that, LAPD and the district attorney in Los Angeles are pulling together as we speak.
Brad Garrett, Trevor Ault, thank you both.